Hello, Paul here. Today in this video I'm going to be explaining about my plans for the 30s. So if you like this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe and enjoy the video. I've been thinking a lot recently about the next kind of life I want to build in the 30s. I know it's still a few years away, and obviously a lot can change between now and then, but I think it is good to have goals, even if some of them sound unrealistic or completely ridiculous. I would rather aim too high and have no direction at all. So I want to make this video and talk about some of my goals for my future. Those are not promises, and I'm not saying that every one of them is definitely going to happen. These are some of the things I'd like to work towards for the next several years to give me a purpose. One of my first goals is to upload more content and properly vlog. I want to do more consistent YouTube and documenting with my life. I think vlogging can give me a reason to try new things and record different stages of my journey. It would be quite interesting to look back at the years I've done and where everything started. Right now I am still figuring out. I don't know what my future content will exactly look like, but it could change over time. I could try different styles, different ideas and different type of videos. But I want to upload more, speak more openly and become more comfortable in front of camera. I like the idea that people could watch my progress over several years. Maybe someone watches one of my videos now and several years later they see I moved somewhere new, started a business, travelled somewhere, or achieved one of the goals I mentioned. That would make the channel like one long story instead of a collection of random videos. Another major goal here is I want to move to the United States in a couple years time. This is probably one of my biggest goals in my list. I have thought about living in America for a long time, and I know that the United States has a lot of downsides. It is not a perfect country, and I'm not pretending that it is. There are problems of cost of living, healthcare, and many other things. I have even thought about the fact that if I become an American citizen, the IRS could still have rules affecting me, even if I later move away to another country. That is obviously not the most exciting part about becoming an American citizen. Just imagine achieving one of your biggest goals, leaving the country at some point, and the IRS is still in the background saying, "Don't forget us." But even knowing that, I still would like to be a proud American citizen. I would not expect it to happen quickly. It could take years. I would need to find a realistic legal route to move there, build a stable life, and eventually see where citizenship was possible later down the line. It is not something that could happen overnight, but it is something I'm willing to work towards for a long time. I think becoming an American citizen would represent more than just receiving a passport, but for me, it would mean I have managed to completely change my life around and build a future in another country. Even if it took most of the 2030s, I think I would still be proud that I tried. Another goal I have is traveling around the world. I do not want my entire life to take place in one town or one country. I would want to see different places, different experiences, different cultures, and find out what actually looks like outside the place I already knew. There are so many countries, cities, and landscapes that I only ever seen through videos, films, or photographs. I would like to experience some of those in real life. Traveling would give me a lot of content for my channel. I could vlog about journeys, talk about the places I visit, and to record my honest reactions. Some of the trips would go well, other trips would probably become a complete disaster, but that's part of the experience. I just do not want to visit famous tourist locations, taking one photograph and leave. I would actually like to spend quality time in different places and understand what daily life is like there. I think traveling could change how I see the world. When you stay in the same environment for most of your life, it's easy to believe that your way of living is the normal way of life. At some point, I would also like to try and set in one or more world records. I do not currently know what the record would be. I have not secretly planned building the world's largest spoon or spent 3 weeks balancing a chair in my head. Though, to be honest, some of the world records are so random that maybe either of those could already exist. I just like the idea of attempting something unusual. It would need to be something that was actually possible for me to prepare for and something I genuinely care about. It could be related to business, technology, travel, content creation, or something completely different. I might actually never take a break. I might never actually break a world record, but at least I would like to attempt one. There is something exciting about having a strange goal in life that makes people ask, why are you doing this? And the answer could simply be, because I wanted to see whether I could. Another major goal is to start in a few businesses. I do not want to depend on one idea or one career forever. I would like to create several businesses over time. Some might succeed, some might fail, and some might never reach beyond the idea stage. That's just the reality of business. I'm not expecting every idea I have to run into becoming a massive company, but I just want to give myself the opportunity to experiment, build things, and learn how to run things properly. Starting a business would mean taking an idea and turning it into something real. It could create income, give me independence, and potentially allow me to employ or work with other people. I also like the idea of building something that could continue growing even when I'm focusing on another project. I would also like to need to make a lot of mistakes before I understand what I was doing. I might launch something that completely fails. I might spend months working on an idea that no one is interested in. That would be very frustrating, but it would still teach me something. I would rather have several attempts at ideas. I would rather attempt several ideas and fail some of them than spend my life wondering what happened if I really tried. Alongside business, I would also like to start my own charities. I do not want all my goals to be about money, attention, or personal success. If I ever become financially successful, I want that part of success to help other people. Starting a charity would be of creating something that had a purpose beyond making money. I want it properly organized and genuinely useful. I do not want to start a charity just so I had one. I just want to solve a real world problem and have a clear impact. That would take a lot of planning, funding, and responsibility. Running a charity is not as simple as choosing a name, making a logo, and saying you want to help people. It would need to be transparent, trustworthy, and focused. But I think creating something that could continue helping people for years would be one of the most meaningful things I could achieve. But I think creating something that could continue helping people for years could be one of the most meaningful things I could achieve. And then there is a probability that there is probably the most ridiculous goal in the list. Maybe if I'm really lucky, I could become famous and possibly become a tech billionaire. I know how unrealistic that sounds. Becoming famous is already difficult. Becoming a billionaire is even more difficult. Becoming a tech billionaire is basically saying, maybe I'll create something that changes the entire industry. The chances of that happening are obviously very small. But I do not think there is anything wrong with keeping it as a dream. I am not going to build my entire happiness around becoming a billionaire. If it never happens, that doesn't automatically mean I failed. There are many levels of success between having nothing and becoming the richest person in the world. But I like the goal that is completely massive. A goal that sounds impossible can sometimes force you to think differently. Even if I never reach the full goal of trying to build something at that level, could still lead somewhere interesting. Maybe I could create a successful company. Maybe I can invent or develop something useful. Maybe I become well known online. Maybe the final looks completely look different from what I imagined today. Being famous would also have its downsides. You would lose some privacy, people would judge everything you do, and strangers would have opinions about your life without actually knowing you. So fame is not necessarily the perfect life people imagine, but I think having a large platform, if I could use it for my content and businesses and charity. But I think I would enjoy having a large platform if I could use it for my content, businesses, and charity. The most important thing would be making sure I don't completely lose myself in the process. And finally, once I finish pursuing these goals, I would like to live in peacefully part-time isolation. Not complete isolation. I do not mean disappearing into the forest and never speaking to a human being again. I mean like having a peaceful life where I can be around people and when I want to be alone.